Hello, everyone. My name is Yama Habibzai, and I'm with HiveIO. Thank you so much for having me here today. But I wanted to first cover and talk about what we call the new virtual economy, right? We've got millions of people stuck at home during this coronavirus outbreak, and where it's going to lead in the future. I think I can speak for everybody that no one really knew that this was going to hit us the way it has. So based on the experiences, what's going to happen going forward? We believe a lot of organizations will have no choice but to prepare for a possible outbreak like this again in the future. So what does this mean to an organization's computing and networking, security, and all the aspects of the different things that they have to consider when more and more of their workforce is working remotely? Now, for those who remember, not too long ago, the birth of the computer, right? Where essentially you had a single computer being exactly that, a glorified calculator sitting on its own, an individual using it. Later on, these computers started connecting and networking with each other, communicating with each other. So that gave birth to a network, right? So you've got all these computers connected and communicating with each other. And we found out very quickly that these computers became very expensive and networks could not scale with having millions of computers just connected to each other. That gave birth to client server technology, where you have machines that are now connecting to a server. Classic example would be Microsoft Exchange. You got an Exchange server running in a data center. People are using email. All emails go into central place and then get distributed to other places. So as that happened, more and more servers became connected to the networks, to the data centers, and all of a sudden we're running out of space. It's costing quite a bit to cool and heat mostly cool these data centers. And all of a sudden, another innovation came around, which was this whole virtualization technology. This allowed us to pack more and more computers or virtual computers inside a physical computer and save on cost and space. So to this day, that's where we are at. When you use most of the applications today, they connect to a backend server that is in a virtual system somewhere in the cloud, right? Either a hybrid on-prem or public cloud. Now, as far as where the world is going, one of the downsides of today's technology is that people still to this day continue to have a need an expensive desktop. I've got a MacBook Pro right here, which is quite expensive. Dell computers, you try to go buy a computer, any good computer will cost you upwards of a couple $100, right? At least $1,000 or more. And as people go remote, organizations cannot afford to not only lose the inefficiencies of working remote, but also the high cost of desktop computing. And where we believe at HiveIO the future resides is this concept of, in the future, there is no computer, but a single window called a browser. You've got a browser, and that's all you need. What we see as the birth or rebirth of VDI, which is virtual desktop infrastructure. And this is where the world is going. Let me just switch here now and share my screen. HiveIO is a VDI company. By the way, that's my email address. Feel free to reach out to me, send me an email, any questions. I'd be happy to communicate and engage with you. So what we do, we deliver the most advanced VDI platform in the world. VDI is not new, it's been around, but it's been complicated. It's been hard to deploy. And to get that single window for your users in a cost-efficient way, VDI is the way to go. And in the future, we believe VDI is the only way to scale. So what we do at HiveIO is our claim to fame is that we've packaged the VDI technology end to end, the virtualization, the storage, the networking, orchestration, all of these technologies into a single fabric. 8 minutes to install, 30 minutes to configure, less than 1 hour to deploy, all packaged together. Now, how is this compared to existing VDI solutions? Well, you need technologies from multiple companies, and it will take you not hours, but weeks and months to get going, and in the end, still not function as well as it should. You also see this intelligent message bus down below, which is unique to us. All the components write to a message bus that eventually you can tell exactly which applications are being used, what's not being used. When it comes to corporate and regulatory compliance, you have that information at your disposal. The other thing that's unique about HiveIO, which is the swarm theory. Like a beehive, literally bees taking care of each other, building a hive that's strong and sturdy. The VDI from HiveIO, based on swarm theory, actually utilizes resources and scales the infrastructure such that if an individual is needing a lot of desktop computing memory and CPU because they're running multiple applications and somebody else is not doing anything, it will dynamically take resources away from that individual and give it to the person who needs it, or the desktop that needs it. And in this way, you can, this is our UI, you can see in real time as the fabric changes and the right resources get to the right people. So very unique to us. One single install, but you also have one contract, one company to deal with, not multiple technologies that you have to glue together. It takes 1 hour to deploy. We've essentially helped companies from multiple people running a VDI platform to just a single individual, because the system takes care of itself. It has what we call self-healing capabilities. All the technologies, the VDI, the virtual server infrastructure, the storage, all being into one single fabric, and then one management console that tells you all that, or gives you visibility into all of that technology in one place. In terms of deployment, customers have the ability to deploy in the cloud, which means they don't touch or install anything, and the users get access to VDI within hours or less. And then the on-premises deployment, which is the customer owns the entire VDI infrastructure. Now, earlier I talked about getting to virtual desktops very quickly, or using a single window, right? So you've got this one user able to run very powerful applications through a couple of different mechanisms that we have. The person has accessibility. One is the traditional desktops that's right in the middle there, physical, on the top, the virtual desktops. And then for certain users where a physical desktop is sitting at a building that you need to access, this happens in the government a lot, where computers are not allowed to be taken off premise. How do you access those machines in a secure fashion as part of Hive Fabric's security, fenced around that? Well, you can do that too. So you can actually access physical desktops, you can run virtual desktops, and access physical servers, all within the same platform in a highly secure fashion from a single vendor, as we mentioned earlier. If you look at, we talked about the present, past, and future. If you look at the future, running large number of people, or having large number of people running desktops is going to be very complicated and expensive the way we are functioning right now in the world. So there's got to be an easier way. And the way to do it is through cost savings. VDI doesn't require those expensive machines to be purchased. The technology in the data center can run in any x86 machine. The IT administrators have full visibility across application usage, corporate guidelines adhered to, and essentially you get more done at a fraction of the cost. And this is the future. The future down the road will be that there are no laptops or expensive machines. You just buy yourself a cheap window to a server farm that has all the technology that you need to run and make any of those low-cost machines behave like a $3,000 laptop. And that's pretty cool. That's it for me. My time's up. Thank you so much again for listening to me. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll personally respond to you. And I hope you stay safe, healthy, and enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.